in the hot seat. So I enjoy riding dirt bikes. 4x4ing, which is very family inclusive. Then this happened,
How does life change so much in a second like that? You think you leave a town and you've forgotten about it, but you're not. He's made such an impact there. Wherever he goes, he does.
I don't even know. Like, you don't know how to feel. You're just shocked. You're just stumped. So kind, loving, always there for everyone whenever you need, no matter what it is.
He's the one who always just gives and does. So he's not one to ask for anything. Trying to be strong for everyone. So I go and have my cries on my walks when I walk the dog. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, who's Mark?
Mark. So Mark is just turned 57 years old. Born and raised in South Africa. Moved to New Zealand 2018. Brought my beautiful family to start a beautiful life, give them a future. I'm a tradie. I do air conditioning and refrigeration. Have done pretty much my whole adult life. And when I first came to New Zealand, I worked for McAlpine. Nice company to work for. Since then I moved on and I opened up Easy Air, which is my own business, and pretty much traded through that. We moved to Tauranga about 7 or 8 months ago. I worked for a company down in Tauranga, and then this happened, which has obviously thrown us a big curveball, but we stay strong. We know who our hope is in. When our hope is in Jesus Christ, and ultimately He's in control. His will be done, and that's what I pray for every day, is for His will, His will might not always line up with our will, but it's still His will, and it's the better of what needs to happen, So although I'm trusting and I'm believing, ultimately we thank God that He's in control and His will be done.
What else besides the family? What do you love? Like, what makes you laugh?
What makes me laugh? I enjoy being out and about. So I enjoy riding dirt bikes, riding mountain bikes, 4x4ing, which is very family inclusive. I love doing stuff with the family. It's not always possible because such a huge part of my life has always been work. Always, and it's something I speak to God a lot about, and even in the sense of going through what I'm going through now, I'm praying for change, change in my work situation, change in what God wants me to walk in. I would love to do full-time ministry. Unfortunately, I'm not the guy who sits up the front and preaches. I can't do that. I'm the guy who's in the background, just mingling, making people feel welcome. You know, my happy place is meeting and greeting new people, just picking out the new faces at church. You know, that's really where my happy place is. Including people, especially when you feel like they probably feeling a bit spare because they may be new, you know. So yeah, my happy place is definitely being with people, you know. So that's something I would love to do. I know we're all in full-time ministry, irrespective of where we work, because we should be ministering and preaching the gospel, which I try to do, and that's generally part of my morning prayer is, Lord, show me who I can talk to, show me who I can impact today, you know. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Okay. So you spoke about the family. Tell us a little bit about that, like.
So my family, obviously, they are my world, you know. My family is the reason why I work the way I work, you know. My family is, first of all, my wife, Cindy, you know, then Cade, Kyan, and Tatum. Our plan was 2 kids, 2 years apart. First one a boy, second one a girl, done and dusted. So we had 2 kids.
Well planned out.
Yeah,
I think God
absolutely.
laughed.
We had 2 kids, 2 years apart. One a boy, second one a boy, which worked for me. But Cindy was still, she wanted a daughter.
Oh,
So 6 years later, after lots of prayer and fasting at one of our annual corporate fasts that we did at our church, the top thing on Cindy's list was a baby girl, and after that corporate fast, she got her baby girl.
Oh,
You know, and that's Tatum. Yeah. Not that I minded having 3 kids at all. It wasn't quite part of the plan. But yeah, Tatum definitely finished the family off. She just brings that whole extra dynamic to the mix there. Tatum's 14 now. Very different to boys. You know,
a lot more sass.
the boys was easy. I'd say, come boys, we're going riding. Go get your, load the trailer, pull out the bikes, hitch up. We're going to go dirt bike riding. And Mom was like, okay, well, dishwasher needs to be unloaded, bedrooms need to be cleaned. The boys already had their riding kits on, helmets, and they're in the kitchen and they're unloading dishwashers. They're in their bedrooms making beds, and then they rush down. But getting them to load that trailer was the easiest thing in the world.
Wow.
And then along came Tatum, and Mom was so happy. She had a little girl. They could do girly things together.
Yeah, when teenager hit, and she doesn't want to spend time with Mum.
Absolutely. And then the 2 boys and I could do the boy thing, go riding, and then we got to New Zealand, and Tatum decided she wanted to do a motorbike. She decided she wanted to start riding, and she rides very well, I must admit. So yeah, Tatum.
And there goes mommy and daughter time.
That's it.
A little bit of jealousy there,
Hey,
potentially.
yeah, Mom wasn't very happy about that.
When did you first know something was wrong?
Oh, this journey. So about October last year, I started just getting a light pain, a nagging pain in the top of my chest here. So I ended up just taking over-the-counter drugs, just painkillers, just to stop the pain, you know, which worked for a while. But then eventually I went to the doctor, and they ran some blood tests and they did some checks, and they said no, they couldn't find anything wrong. Everything came back clear, but that pain just persisted, you know. And then I went back to the doctor. Same thing. They did blood tests, they did checks, and they said no, they couldn't find anything wrong. So they prescribed me some medication, which I took, but the pain just didn't go away. So the third time I went to the doctor, I said, no, look, there's something. So probably around January this year, I went to the doctor for the third time, and I said, hey, you know, there's something. They ran some more blood tests, and then he said he was going to book me for a CT scan. So they would let me know when the CT scan was going to be due. And I just never heard back from them. So around about the 23rd of February, I couldn't sleep that night. It was a Tuesday night, if I'm not mistaken, 23rd of February. And man, I battled, I tossed and I turned, and I was in so much pain. So I woke Cindy up and I said, hey, can you just maybe take me through to the hospital, you know, because something's not right, so, you know. And went through to the emergency room. They took me in, did blood tests, waited for the results of the blood tests, and they said, when the blood results came back, they said no, they couldn't pick up anything, you know, but clearly they could see I was in pain. So they booked a CT scan, and luckily they said I can just stay there. They'll book it for first thing, you know. So as soon as the staff came on duty, I went in for a CT scan, came out, waited probably the rest of the day, probably until about 2:30. The doctor eventually came through to me and called me, Mark Easton. Yep, came through. And as I was walking with her, she said, yeah, we got some results from the CT scan. She said, I must tell you, it's not good. I said, oh, okay. She's like, okay, well, let's just walk down, go through to the office.
First of all, thank you. We had to be somewhere,
Oh.
and you've taken enough time to actually be here, so we appreciate you. Tell us about your dad.
Oh, honestly, he's an amazing man. He taught me pretty much everything I know. Yeah, always been around for all the silly stuff me and my brother used to get up to. Always, yeah, he's just always been there for us. Yeah.
So you weren't there when Mark got the news the first time, but
No.
you when you arrived, I'm guessing you probably could see right off the bat, like when you walked up to him, you're like, oh.
Yeah, well, he had told me on the phone that it wasn't good news before I got to the hospital.
Okay.
So I was prepared for that, but it's just such a shock. It's like time just literally stands still.
The doctor eventually came through to me and called me, Mark Easton. Yep, came through. And as I was walking with her, she said, yeah, we got some results from the CT scan. She said, I must tell you, it's not good. I said, oh, okay. She's like, okay, well, let's just walk down, go through to the office. Sat down in her office. She said, you've got cancer in your pancreas and in your liver. And I said, oh, okay. She said, yeah, sorry, I'm so blunt. She said, but I'd rather just tell you straight up front like that. So I said, no, okay, that's all right. I appreciate it, you know, but obviously that came as a hell of a shock, you know, like just to find out like that.
Oh, Yeah.
You
What
know?
was going through your head when she told you in that moment, like?
You want to question the doctors, like, are you sure you got the right person?
Yeah.
Did you get it right? You know, it's just so unbelievable. You know, you're just living your life, and just to get news like that, it's a huge shock. And you just wonder why, how, like, how does life change so much in a second like that?
Question the universe and everything in it.
And I did. I literally said, I feel like I need to be doing something. And then I said, we need to pray. And we prayed, and we've got to just give it to God, and we trust that He's in control. He knows the plans He has for us, and
Amen.
Honestly, I didn't know what to feel, to be honest. Like, it's such a shock. I don't even know. Like, you don't know how to feel. You're just shocked. You're just stumped.
Shocked, like I didn't know what to think. I was, Lord, no, what? You know, how? You know, like how can I go from just having some stomach pain, and the next thing they're telling me I've got cancer in my pancreas and my liver, you know? She said, well, more than that, we can't really tell you. Cindy was on her way to the hospital at the time.
What did the family do? Like when you told the family the reaction?
It's shocking all round there. So yeah, it's a very bitter pill to swallow. It really was shocking, very difficult. In all honesty, man, I felt really bad telling the family, you know, because obviously we got family that don't live in New Zealand. You know, we got family back in SA, we got family in Australia. You know, so obviously my immediate family here in New Zealand were the first to find out.
Yeah.
I spoke to them. Then when it was evening here, then I phoned South Africa to let my mom know. I phoned my two brothers in Australia to let them know. And I let my sister know, who's in Joburg in South Africa, you know. But yeah, it was very difficult. I honestly felt really bad telling the family because I've had that news before. My brothers phoned me and told me that he had cancer, and I know how I felt when he told me he had cancer. You know, I was no, and straight away, I fasted. I fasted for 7 days, and I earnestly prayed for him. You know, and praise the Lord, today he's cancer free.
Amen.
You know, and that he got that maybe a month ago. He went for a biopsy after his second lot of treatment, and praise the Lord, he's cancer free. So he's still carrying on with treatment. He's still got, I think it's maybe just preventative stuff that they do. So he's still carrying on with treatment, but yeah. So I had that news from him, and I know how I felt when I found out he had cancer.
Yeah.
And so now I know what I was inflicting on everyone else. You know, like I felt really bad that I'm now gonna give them this news, and that's obviously gonna worry them. You know.
Says a lot about your character, though.
Thanks.
You just heard that you have cancer. Not just one. And you're more worried about the worry and pain that you're going to inflict on those that are going to hear this news. That says a lot. So walk me through what has changed since knowing about this, like, what does life look like now?
Well, where we were getting up and going to work every day, it's I've been lucky enough to be blessed to work from home now. I work a half-day job. So my employees have let me work from home to take care of Mark. And yeah, it's doctor's visits, oncologists, treatments, just trying to get together all the supplements and everything that he needs. It was a huge change in our diet, lifestyle. Our days are pretty much at home. If they're not at home, they're doctor's rooms.
Yeah, far cry from what it once was.
From what it was once, yeah.
And then, how's the family dynamic been? Like, you got a teenage daughter who lives in home with you.
Yeah.
Seeing all this and
That's tough.
you know, have to be the strong one,
Yeah.
and now all of a sudden learn how to be a nurse all at the same time.
Yeah. Trying to be strong for everyone. So I go and have my cries on my walks when I walk the dog. Yeah.
It's tough.
So, cancer, there's so many different forms of cancer. There's so many different pathways to cancer. There's so many different ways to starve cancer. You know, so diet is a huge thing, huge. So obviously, 180 degrees diet change. I turned and I walked the opposite way. So nothing processed. I don't drink tap water. I only drink alkaline spring water.
Something with a pH, something has a TDS in it, you know, total.
Straight out the ground,
Yeah.
straight out from Mother Nature, from God Himself. You know,
100%.
it's filtered through the mountains. It's pure. No coffee, no tea, no Milo, nothing. Sometimes I might have a bit of rooibos tea with a dash of honey.
Yes, that's good stuff.
And then I will also drink kombucha, which is also very good for your tummy and that. But other than that, all I drink is alkaline water.
I have to ask, have you started making your own bread, like Daniel bread? What? Ezekiel bread.
Ezekiel bread is what I want to make. Because that is literally a recipe from God.
Amen.
It's in the Bible. It's a recipe from God, and
it's so good and it's filled with so much nutrients that is why the other parts of the Bible can say the man shall not live from bread alone.
There you go.
Besides the medical, what other costs are there that like people won't see? The hidden things that you just never knew?
Yeah, so in terms of medical, I'll say straight off the bat, we're so blessed to be in New Zealand. You know, we citizens, you know, so man, God knows what He's doing, you know, because the medical expenses of having something like this can be horrendous, you know, especially if you weren't in a country like New Zealand.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Most of this, the government funded stuff, you obviously have to do through the hospitals, and it's only funded if it's what they specify.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of other things I'm doing which is not government funded because it's private. So I am seeing private doctors as well. We initially saw a naturopath who put us onto a medical doctor who practices medicine, but he practices alternative medicines as well.
Okay.
You know, so he makes use of ivermectin, fembendazole,
Okay.
medbendazole,
A little bit
vitamin
more
C.
homeopathic.
Yes. Vitamin C IV infusion. They also do ozone.
Oh, amazing! Yes.
Ozone. So
Oxygen treatment.
I'll be starting that hopefully next week, where you go in, they'll take 100 mils of your blood
Yep.
and they pump it through a machine.
Are they trying to get you to a certain, like a 40% saturation level?
Well, we haven't gone into the details as yet,
Okay.
but the vitamin C, I've started that already. I've been
Excellent.
doing that for a while. The ozone, hopefully I'll start it next week. I think they do build it up to a certain level, but they can only do it 100 mils at a time.
Yep.
And then that 100 mils, so once that ozone goes into those cells, it stays there for the duration of the cell's life. So it only leaves your body when that cell dies. But I'll find out more about the process, but it will be a weekly. So at the moment I'm doing 2 vitamin C.
Yep.
So what I might try to do is, just because of the cost, because those are not funded by the government and they are expensive procedures. So I'll split that now. I'll do 1 vitamin C, 1 ozone to get going. And they even said to me at the clinic, you know what, once a week is better than none at all, you know. So they said to me at the clinic, hit it hard, hit it fast, but obviously it's within your budget.
Has there been other financial impacts that you, like, are you able to carry on working, or is it because you're not working that other financial stresses have come up?
Well, I am. That was a big concern to me, because I was working, knowing what I've got, praying that I wouldn't have to stop working. But the reality of the matter is, there was a big possibility that I would have to stop working, and that I prayed about, you know. And so I was working as much as I could, but eventually it did get to the point where I just couldn't. You know, my energy levels are just down, and you know, I just wasn't able to put in the hours, you know, and I knew that was going to come, you know. But that's where we're so blessed, because we became New Zealand citizens a week before I found out that I had cancer, you know. And that shows you, like, to me, that's just God's hand in it, you know. He's in it, he's in control, irrespective, doesn't matter.
It's not ideal, but hey, listen, I got you.
That's it, you know. And with that comes certain benefits. So with being a citizen comes benefits, you know, and that's where we're fortunate enough. We did reach out to Work and Income, and they did say, yep, we would qualify for a grant. They would pay myself a grant, they would pay Cindy a grant to look after me. And because we've got a dependent, Tatum, who lives with us, they would pay her a grant as well. So it doesn't quite cover my salary, but
It's better than nothing.
It covers rent and food, you know. So man, it's a huge help. It's a huge help. It's a huge blessing.
What does he need that he wouldn't ask for?
He never would have asked for help financially to help with his treatments. He's the one who always just gives and does. So he's not one to ask for anything. But I know that help with the financial burden, it would really help him a lot. in his healing, so he didn't have to worry about how are we going to pay the bills to have all these treatments, because they are expensive, but they are very much needed. Yeah.
So I'm getting a lot more real. Like Mark is trying to be very positive and stay strong in his mind, and I can understand that's something he needs right now. He needs that strength and that solid ground beneath him, because everything else is seeming a little bit scary, as it is. And for you, on the other end of this, almost from an outsider's perspective, but still in the middle of the whole whirlwind, you get to see the real, the raw, the in-between, the highs and the lows. So you would say the financial carrying is something that you would need a lot of help with. Okay. For people that are going to be in future, like obviously now you're going to be sharing this video and other people are going to see this interview and they're going to, now they all of a sudden start reaching out. What would be something that they can actually help you with? Instead of them coming to you and saying, hey, what do you need? How can I help? Like, practically real, what would be something that they could help with?
I actually don't know.
Is it just the financials at this stage where it's like the biggest lack is just to try and plug that hole? Because right now you're fighting the emotional battle, you're fighting the physical battle, and then you have to fight the financial battle too in the background. And you don't want the financial battle to influence, like we said, that mentality that is so pivotal for Mark right now to, hey, don't worry about the finances, you've got enough on your plate.
We've received a lot of encouragement from people. I mean, we started out in Pukekohe 7.5 years ago when we moved to New Zealand, and then we went to Hamilton, and now we're in Tauranga, and people still from Pukekohe are reaching out to us with prayer and love and well wishes and even food parcels. People have just been so amazing. Like, you think you leave a town and you've forgotten about it, but you're not. He's made such an impact there. Wherever he goes, he does.
So, getting through a day, what does that look like? It's like, there are good days, there are bad days, then there are just days.
Yeah.
Like, just getting through a normal day now, like, what are you fighting for?
So my day, everything about me relies on faith, you know. So my faith in Jesus Christ is everything, you know. I'm at a point where I know man cannot do a single thing for me. Doctors have told me that they can't help me, you know. So all I've got is Jesus to put my hope in. And what better place to only have your hope in than Jesus? Because he's the only one who would never let you down. You know, man will let you down, but God will never, you know. And so, yeah, that is a huge part of getting me through the day. Yes, I have good days, I have bad days. I think a lot of those good and bad days are dependent on treatments I have as well, because certain treatments really take it out of me, you know. But then the next day I might feel a bit better. It just depends on the treatments I go for. But yes, I have definitely noticed in the last few weeks, I definitely have some bad days where I really battle, and I just got to chill. I just got to relax and take it easy and draw the strength of the Lord, because I don't have it, you know. I live on painkillers. I live on a lot of painkillers. And if I can just manage those right, I can manage the pain.
Okay.
But yeah, my day, everything about me, I won't even say my day, is reliant on faith. Because as soon as something is off, I say, Lord, I give it to you. It's out of my control. There's nothing I can do. I give it to you. You know, and that's where I live.
What would you say is the best thing about it?
I would say, honestly, it's hard to choose, but honestly, I would say definitely his personality. Just so kind, loving, always there for everyone whenever you need, no matter what it is. It's always there, and definitely how strong and grounded he is in his faith. Yeah, I would say.
What would you want people to know about Mark? Stuff that isn't on paper, something they would never be able to know.
Well, he really enjoys people. He may seem like he's quiet and shy, but he's got such a boldness about him when it comes to God. He loves talking to new people. When we're out and about, he'll just strike up a conversation with anybody, and I can guarantee you he'll invite them to church. That's who he is. He won't leave that conversation without giving the invitation for them to come to church, because that's who he is, and he's the kindest and most patient person I've ever met, ever. Like we've said before, he was more concerned about his family and how they were going to feel with the news. When they took it bad, he was feeling bad for telling them, because that's who he is.
Massive heart.
Massive.
Yeah, so a proper servant's heart as well.
Absolutely.
Somebody who genuinely cares more about other people than himself.
He loves helping people. People need to move. He's the first one to offer to help move. Someone's stuck on the side of the road, he'll be the one to stop and help. Someone needs something fixed, he's happy to help, step in and do what he can to help them. I laugh because my nephew, when he was a lot younger, my sister had something broken at the house or whatever, and my nephew said, "Oh, just phone Uncle Mark, he can fix anything." It's a little standing joke that we just laugh about when we think about it, because he's just happy to help wherever he can.
What would you want for him?
Honestly, I think it would be what any son would want for their father, like you say, healing. But just for him to go back to doing the stuff that he loves, being able to go out and do the stuff he enjoys. Like he mentioned, going out riding with my brother and I and my sister, just going out on 4x4 missions, camping, like all the stuff that he enjoys to do. Probably just for him to be able to enjoy that stuff again and not have to struggle with the pain or the stress of everything that's going on.
That's very good. Thank you. What does life look like at the end of this? Like, what is something that you're looking forward to doing that you don't have to worry about this?
At the end of this, I'll be 100% honest. The hardest thing for me at the moment is my diet, because I'm so limited as to what I can eat. You know, so at the end of this, man, if they had steers here in New Zealand,
What a South Africa! Hey, what a G!
a steer's burger and chips would go down so well. But
I was looking forward to a nice
over here,
steak.
probably burger fuel would probably a nice burger fuel burger
So
and
less
chips.
restriction on that. Oh,
You know, just a nice juicy burger. You know, and chips or
This is the thing we
ribs,
fantasize
you know,
about.
yeah. And then obviously getting back, just being able, like the boys go bike riding, they go ride boom busters, and you know, I see the videos, and I'm thinking, man, I should be out there riding with them, you know. So I'd really love to get back in the seat of my motorbike again, but just getting back to normal life. I'll be honest, like for me, serving in our church has always been a big thing, you know, like I'm a server, that's what I do. I'm a behind the scenes. I love just doing, you know, and so I haven't, since moving to Tauranga, we haven't quite gotten plugged into a church to that extent yet. So we haven't even actually been taken into a church as members. We were going to, but then we ended up missing the Sunday Connect lunch that they were doing because Cindy's father passed away, and so plans changed and we ended up missing that lunch. So we will still get plugged into our church, and that is definitely high on my priority list, is to get into the welcoming team, you know, newcomers, whatever teams they have, you know, because that's me, that's my heart. I have a heart for people. I have a heart for welcoming people, for making them feel included, and yeah, so that's definitely something I'm looking forward to. So as soon as I do feel better, and I'm able to mingle more, 100%, that's what I'm going to be doing.
Awesome. And for anyone watching who are going through similar, what would you say to them?
For anyone watching who's going through a terminal diagnosis, you know, God is so much more above that. You know, God's ways are so much higher than our ways. You know, our thoughts are foolish to God's thoughts, you know. So no disrespect to the medical fraternity and doctors and nurses, you know, but you can take what they say with a pinch of salt, because if you're a true believer and you give everything to God, ultimately He decides what happens to you. No one can come to me and say, hey, Mark, I'm going to give you, we according to statistics, we'll give you X amount of time, you know, because that doesn't work for me. God gives life, God takes life, you know. So if you're not a believer, I encourage you to become a believer, because I promise you it's life-changing, you know. But yes, getting a terminal diagnosis is shocking, it's scary, but I can guarantee you it's not always the end of the story. Only God can decide that.
100%. A lot of the times it's just God turning the page.
Absolutely.
Awesome.